Hey there, brothers and sisters. Vessel Truth here, Jay from Virginia for the new people. And figured I got a few minutes here or whatever, and just wanted to make a quick video and, you know, talk about some of the things that's been on my mind here lately. Um, you know, there's a lot of things that are just hidden here in plain sight. Um, you know, people that, have existed like Aleister Crowley, the things that he said, which is, 100% true, is, one of the one of three main ways to summon spirits or to conjure them is through acting. And, anyone who knows anything about Hellyweird knows that, that's basically what they do out there. They conjure, different spirits, and, they make movies to entertain the masses. And as always, sometimes that M is silent. But, it goes back even further than that. When you read the book of Enoch, it tells us in the book of Enoch that there was an angel, it's like Panumi, that was the one that taught mankind how to read and write. And, that alone tells us a lot, And then you go in and you start looking at the English language, and everything about the English language is all about casting spells. You figure you go to school and they teach you spelling, spell casting, from the time that, you're an adult, you have kids, and you become a parent, and that's a pair of people that rent children, because we don't own our children, because the birth certificate, the government owns our children. And then look at the word children. It's made up of two words, chill and dren. Chill means, cold, or to get cold, and then dren means, a strong individual. Childhood, child, self-explanatory, and then hood, something, to cover up. We should hide our children. It's just amazing, the way our English language is. Sorry, change of scenery, got interrupted a minute, but the English language, whenever you really think about it, there is just so much about it, people don't think about, the fallen angel, taught us to words, he taught us words, but he taught us how to write. And then you figure, write and write, two different words, W-R-I-T-E and R-I-T-E. A rite is, it's a ceremony or a ritual, and the truth is like basically right in front of you. It's like, if you go back, he taught us words, and if you go and you do a study, you find out in Greek mythology, the Word Sisters, which was a coven of witches, they basically told man their fate, total control and all that. It's just, all this is, been right in front of us, but yet we've never really thought about things. So, just one thing, these are just sort of things, that I kind of ponder from time to time. Like we live, and yet live backwards is evil. The English language is very, very interesting. That's like we're told to read books, because, the angel taught us to read and write. And, you know, books have chapters, and, chapters are, they're like different sects of society or secret societies or religious organizations, different chapters. And then, books have pages, and to page somebody is to summon. I mean, I just don't believe in coincidences. And, even to the point of like, we're reading and writing is called grammar. And that comes from the word grimoire. Well, if you look up the word grimoire, you find out that a grimoire was an ancient book of magic for conjuring demons and evil entities and spells. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. And it's like, play on words in a way. Like, each morning we wake up. Well, awake is a funeral procession for dead people. And then we're taught, to tell everybody good morning, but yet morning is something that you do because of a death in a family or something like that. And it's like, I mean, there is no coincidences. That's like, we spend all our life, during the weekdays working to earn a living, and yet an urn is something that holds ashes for dead people. And, it's weekdays because you're basically in a daze going through the week to get to the weekend, because each day that goes by during the week weakens you to the point to you get to the end of it and you're weakened. See what I'm saying? These things aren't just coincidences. Words are spells. There's power in words, and what does the word of Yahuah tell us? Life and death is in the power of our tongue. Well, what comes out of our tongue? It's either blessings or cursings. See what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? There are spiritual principles all around us that a lot of people just don't even think about. I mean, that's like actors. Actors, do their movies and all that, all to gain this award. And the award that they go and receive is called an Oscar. Well, if you look at the picture of this little statue or idol thing that they call an Oscar, and you look at it, you find out that it goes all the way back to an exact representation to the Egyptian god Ptah, Ptah. And, Ptah became Orion, part of Orion's belt. I mean, all these things are connected. And yet played off as mythology or just coincidence. But, I can't help but look back and know that everything that was created by the Father, He spoke into existence. And then He warns us, that life and death is in the power of our tongue. And then we find out, in Enoch, that it was the fallen angels that taught us to read and write. And that says, it's something that the Father never planned for us to do. And that's just one of the things that makes me think. Of course, he knew everything ahead of time. So, he knew about the fall. He knew about the plan that the enemy would do and so on and so forth. But, how would things be if, we never did learn to read and write? The only thing we would have had would have been remembering what was said. No, notes, no writing anything down to remember. And, can't help but think, that the Father says, when He marries us at the new covenant, when it actually takes hold, He's going to write His law, His Torah, on our hearts and our minds. So, makes me wonder, will there be any writing afterward, I don't know why there would be any need for it, but, what do I know? Just things like this, that I think about, when the Father says, that we should watch what we say, as in keeping our yea, yea, and our nay, nay. And don't make a fool out of ourselves with our much speaking. There's a reason for that. And I dare say it's a very powerful lesson that I think we all could benefit. How many times has any of us been mad and run our mouth and said things that we shouldn't have said? But yet, biblically, the Father says, just remain quiet. Hold your tongue. It equates the tongue as such an unruly member, thereby which blessings proceed and cursings. Everything that we say in English languages, is all about spellcasting, double meanings, cursing people and never even knowing it. We're born into this world, which is the old English word. Born comes from barren, and the definition for barren, we all know that. What does it mean to be barren? It means unfruitful. And just that meaning right there, I can't help it, just kind of jolted in my head there. Unfruitful. What does the word of Yahuah tell us? That we are to bear fruit if we're attached to the vine. He's the true vine, and we're the branches, and we're to bear fruit. And how are we supposed to look at each other, our brothers and our sisters? We're to, be fruit inspectors. It's really interesting whenever you really start to think about, how everything has been put together on us. Just a straight unplanned video of where I had time to read an email, and in this email, a person was talking about a lot of different stuff, but the things that he was talking about made my mind go back to what I'm talking about now. And it's like, I ain't never really said anything about it, but I'm always looking, for ways to kind of make people push and think about, the things that are around us, the things that we take for granted. And, we shouldn't take things for granted. It's like before I actually went to bed last night, I happened to catch it was, I think it was only like 4 or 8 minute YouTube clip, and it was on holoportation technology. And I'm kind of one of them geeky people, I like to see what, they're releasing technology wise. So I'm like, holoportation, that's a big word. Wonder exactly what they're going to show. And they actually showed the technology to where you can be on camera like you see me right now, but they can make you appear and you look totally solid and all that anywhere in the world, as long as they've got the signal box or whatever, because they had both in this clip and in the same room, so you actually got to see it work, and it was really, really interesting. But I mean, that's just one thing. Think about, here we are, we're going into these end times, and just that technology alone, holoportation, you can no longer trust what your eyes are seeing. And I mean, if I can go back and look at that, because I had it on the computer, I'll put the link under this video. I can't remember if I deleted it after I watched it or not, but I'll look for it. And, or actually, you can because I think the name of it was just holoportation technology. I'll see if I can find the video, and I'll post the link in the description of this video. I have no clue what I'm even going to call this video, because I'm just sort of rambling, kind of wanted to make a video, but I really don't have the time to do a real good long video. So I just figured I'd give you some points to ponder. That would be a good name for the video, I guess. Points to ponder. And it's funny, Paleo Hebrew, because what I was saying about the English language, how it's full of spell casting and so on and so forth. Paleo Hebrew, which I have always been taught and told that the original Hebrew language, which is Paleo Hebrew, was always considered the Father's language, because it's the only clean language. Which, I mean, I'm not no expert about, languages by any stretch of the imagination. I'm doing good to speak English. I know enough to be dangerous when it comes to, Hebrew and stuff like that. The Yud Hey Vav Hey, the name of the Father, and the Vav, everyone makes a big deal out of. But in Paleo Hebrew, there is no way of cussing. Like here in English, we have our 4-letter words and so on and so forth, but in Paleo Hebrew, you cannot cuss. I think the worst you can say is, "You are the son of a female dog" in Paleo Hebrew. That's the closest you can come to cussing. And, that's why I've always had that desire to learn Hebrew. And, for the longest time, I've taught myself some. I can quasi say some stuff and recognize some stuff, but it's hard to teach yourself, is all I got to say. I have that desire to want to be able to speak fluently in Hebrew, but man, their language is, to me, it's hard. And they say that English is the hardest language, but I just don't see it. Because in Hebrew, each letter has a numerical value, and their speaking goes hand in hand with their numerical system and stuff. And it's like, it's just a whole different concept. But I guess, if a person was born in it naturally, like I was born in with English, we become quasi proficient with it. Uh, it's just rambling here. But I would like to know, what you all think. Have you ever thought about, the English language and, just words and reading and writing and all that being taught to us by fallen angels? I mean, that's a fact. It's the truth. And then add in the spiritual principle of, life and death being in the power of the tongue, and, the tongue being an unruling member that no man can tame. Everything that the Father has to say about the tongue. I think it's something that we should all really kind of think about from time to time. Because, there's other things, and it's like, there's one of the law dictionaries. If you go and you look up human being in one of the law dictionaries, it's, if I remember correct, it's not Black's Law. It's like Ballantyne's Law Dictionary. If you look up human being in that dictionary, it says sea monster. So you go and you look at monster in this law dictionary, and it gives you this definition of what a human being is, and it's like something, it equates us to a lower life form that's animal-like. And I mean, this is out of a law dictionary. I mean, it's just craziness. There's more truth that is right in front of our face that we don't see than, what we go and we dig up and we look for. I guess that's my biggest point, is we're all time looking for that rabbit hole to follow, but yet there's all kinds of rabbit holes just right in front of our face that we don't even see. Like from the time you're born, everything that you've been told or taught, from government indoctrination centers, which includes the four-wall indoctrination centers, is based on lies and half-truths. From the very day you're born, you're controlled. That birth certificate number. Go and pull your birth certificate and look at the number on it. And then go to any stock exchange and enter that number, and you'll find out, hey, you're worth a pretty penny in some cases. We are the cattle that, backs up the supposed money system. That's why parents are a pair of people that rents children. We don't own our own children. That's why, the social services can come and take your children. I mean, it's just insane. You know, they give you all this rules and regulations, you know, that you have to have this little card to drive a vehicle, and you don't, because you're not a driver. If you're not being paid to drive, you're not a driver. You are a traveler. And under, common law, we have the right to travel. The roads are public property. Our tax dollars goes, to fix them and to keep them up. You don't need no license. It's your car. But, it's all about, admiralty law, maritime law. That's why a court system always has that little fence that that little swinging gate that you have to walk through like you're getting on a boat. That's why the American flag in a courtroom has gold fringes. We're not under common law anymore. We're under contract law. That's why a police officer wants to write you a citation, a ticket. And all this plays right into understanding the law of God. To be under the law means you're guilty. It means the law has power over you. But that's a whole nother thing that I don't need to get into right now, because I'll be on here for hours. But I would encourage you to think about it. I pray, this helps you in some small way. I mean, it's just a view into the things that goes on in my mind when, I'm reading something, it has to do with, because the email that I actually read was about a little bit of everything. Kind of like this video. And it got my mind thinking about some stuff. So I just figured I'd jump on real quick. And sorry for the interruptions. But I am at work, so, I've been a little busy. Just food for thought. And if you can, in the comment section, give me some feedback on what you think. Have you ever thought about these things? And if need be, email me at JTT, that's the letter J, T, T, and then 1777, and then at outlook.com. outlook.com. I had one person that said that they couldn't understand me or something like that, so email me and I'll get back to you. But I just would like to know how many people really ponder this stuff, or is it kind of one of them things that, oh wow, gee, never really thought about that. I'm one of them ones that I think about everything, because I know that things are just not as they seem to be. There's always more to the story, or there's things that are hidden or just not spoke about. And it's how I am. So I look forward to your replies, or your emails. So I'm still praying for you all, and I thank you all for your prayers. Yahuah bless you and keep you always, and just armor up and keep fighting the good fight of faith. And I will see you all on the next one. As always, keep seeking the face of the Father, and do not allow the enemy an inch. I can't stress it enough. The enemy is really, really fighting the children of Yahuah right now. And it's during these times that we really need to buckle down and really start praying for one another. Because whether you're having, it easy, trust me, there are people out there that are really struggling. And you bring in, the spiritual side along with the physical side of what's going on in the world, and, it can be very rough for some of us. So just keep others in mind, as always, help people and witness to people, and just be a doer of the word, not a hearer only. I'll leave it at that. But I love you all, and I'll see you all on the next one. Yahuah bless you always.